Hello traders, welcome to this FXDD webinar. Of course, taking a look at the live financial markets here, what's going on with the euro dollar, pound dollar, and a lot of other currencies and instruments. First of all though, my name is Chris from Elite Currency, and I have this risk disclaimer to explain. Trading for exchange and global financial markets is considered high risk and may not be suitable for everyone. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. And this webinar is for informational and educational purposes only. Please check out these two live trading links to join the live trading webinars. And if you can't join live, of course, subscribe to the FXDD YouTube channel to catch all of the videos with analysis and also the recording of the webinars. All right, with that said, let's take a look at the charts. Here we go. Basically, price here on the euro dollar. Let me move the charts a little bit to the left so you can see that a little bit better. There we go. So what we're looking at here is the euro dollar, of course, daily chart. And yesterday there was a rejection as it was retesting basically the bearish candle on Friday. About halfway that candle, price rejected at about 111.20 and started to fall back down again as expected. So we're having basically a break, pullback, continuation, and a small little pullback after the continuation. And I think that price is now pushing through 111. And there's a fair chance of a follow through. In this case, now down to 110.50, for instance, maybe down to 110. There is news events on the Eurozone on Thursday and Friday. Of course, that could limit the move to the downside. But if we look at the wave patterns for the moment, or actually just from a trend perspective, price is breaking through support multiple times now, in fact, as you can see. And we are having lower lows and lower highs as well. So I think we're seeing a bearish push lower. And that could take price easily back down to the support zone here at 110, for instance, in the previous bottoms. From a wave pattern, this could easily be an A, B, C back down. And therefore, this could be a bouncing spot for an upside if this is indeed a wave A and this is a B and up for C. Looking at higher time frames, like the weekly, the monthly here, we can see that this could easily be a retracement for more upside because we had a first kind of glimpse of a potential bullish bounce. And looking at the weekly, you can see also that this is starting to look like a bigger correction higher, maybe up to, for instance, 113.50, 115. So although I'm bearish on lower time frames and I think price could fall down to 109.50, 110, I also think that that zone could be a bouncing spot for upside and in a larger kind of correction. So down to the 4-hour chart, I think that price is now trying to break through this zone. I think a breakthrough 110.75 should see a follow through slowly but surely, maybe something like step by step, for instance, a break, a pullback, a continuation, a pullback, a continuation down to that zone would not surprise me at this moment. Yesterday, there was a clear ABC pattern here that rejected at the weekly pivot point and the 144 EMA confluence. And I think that from a wave perspective, this is looking like a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going down for 5 at this moment on the 1-hour chart after a ABC up here. So looking bearish to me. I think 4-hour chart also lower lows, lower highs. The question is, how much will price move today before those big news events on the Eurozone tomorrow and Friday? If it does move up, I think that around this zone there could still be a big resistance level with this consolidation zone and the 144 EMA and the broken resistance anywhere around 110.90 and 111 basically. Okay, if it does break through this bottom, of course, then there could be an immediate breakout. All right, pound dollar is looking different because of the fact that price is making a triangle pattern here. This could be A, B, C. This could all be D. And well, yesterday there was this week there was a crucial bounce here on this fib like that, 88.6 fib bounce. And if we look at the 4-hour chart, this could easily be an A, B, C, and we got another higher low with many lower highs as well. So it is starting to look like a triangle pattern. What type of triangle, of course, that still remains to be seen. A, B, C, I think personally, and the D is still open. I think within D there could be an A, B, C taking place. So from that perspective, if price stays above the weekly pivot point, let's take a look at the weekly hourly chart. I think if it stays above, probably, let's get rid of this fib. these tops in here, which could easily be the wave 1 zone, right? So if it stays above that, then I think it's likely to be a wave 4 here for move up for wave 5 of a bigger wave C. Okay, so from that perspective, a breakout above this 130.66, I think could lead to a breakout and a potential wave 5 of that wave C. And the main targets are 131.60, 132.20. Let's put a fib from here to here, like that. And that wave D could end at one of these two fibs, basically. That, if it does bounce there, that could confirm a wave D. Price might move down for wave E and then bounce up. If it is a bullish triangle, of course. If this is a bearish triangle, then it could be a blue D up for blue E and then break to the downside. Okay. So from this perspective, yeah, I think that triangle pattern taking place and still one more bounce up in here likely. But let's see if price makes this breakout first of all. If it doesn't, and if it pushes through this level, then it could also be a different wave pattern, right? In that case, if it pushes through 129.50, if it pushes through 130.20, 130.10, then it also could easily be a descending wedge. And in that case, this could be A, this could be B, and we're looking at a wave C zigzag to the downside instead. So break here could certainly be bearish. We'd be looking for flags as it breaks for continuation lower down to 128.60 and later on down to 127.50. Okay, so that's the alternative. Dollar yen had a little bit of a rising wedge in here. That price broke that rising wedge with a bearish candle, and I think there could be a retracement going on, but I do think that price is going to go back into some type of support zone with the 21 EMA and the previous tops in here. So I wouldn't be surprised if price makes some type of bull flag, which it is doing right now, in fact, and continues to do that. And eventually, after it finishes and completes the bull flag, that it then bounces and breaks the flag to the upside. So I'm bullish on the dollar yen for the moment, as long as it stays above 109.25. Preferably above 109.50 and breaks that flag to the upside. I think the main target, next target would be 111. I think that that's likely because this is looking like a wave 3 and this could easily be a wave 4. But of course, if price breaks through the S2, then that would change things and then it's starting to look more bearish. A bounce here, certainly looking bullish, and I think that this could easily be a correction for more upside up to 111. I would rather wait though for the bull flag to extend a little bit further in time, and later on this week or beginning next week, I think a bull flag break makes sense. All right, taking a look at gold, it's a little bit choppy, and price actually fell further than I expected here. Certainly still a strong uptrend, but the decline was a little bit too quick, I think. So we got some kind of ABC correction. And the recovery now is also quite choppy and slow. So although price is bouncing at the weekly pivot point and a second break above the 20 MA likely to create some upside, I would still be cautious whether the uptrend is fully in place and would put the fib from here to here, for instance, like that. And I think it could still make some bounce and it could move up, but the upside might be limited to these fibs. That could still be a very strong resistance zone. What I would like to see is if price moves up, I would like to see a flag and then a breakout before trading, the long-term uptrend continuation. Here is that uptrend. That uptrend at this moment, as you can see, we had a very big bull flag here. We had a good break. This could all easily be a pullback, but this, I would still be careful whether this is a pullback because of this strong downside. So I would like to see a push and flag before trading it from a daily perspective to the upside. Okay, so let's see. Otherwise, it could easily go into kind of a smaller triangle, perhaps like this, and then break to the upside. That wouldn't surprise me, and that would be interesting if a triangle pattern like that does occur, because that would be a pretty good signal for upside. All right, Bitcoin making higher highs and higher lows, so regaining traction. It had a good momentum here, bounced to 61.8 fib, straight up to the minus 61.8 fib, then back down to the previous top, which acted as a bouncing spot, and then up to the next minus 100 target. So pretty much Very nicely playing these fibs. Also a neat bounce at the minus 272 target, as you can see, and then back to the previous top. So very nicely playing these levels, and now making some type of correction. It might make it back down to the minus 272 target in the 144 EMA zone, which I think would be a bouncing spot at 8K, 8,000 here. Or if it just goes sideways, then it also easily could be building a chart pattern for more upside. Let's take a look at the daily chart. And if that's the case, if it goes sideways like that, I would expect a continuation up to these targets like that for a follow through of that trend. Okay, so looking at the higher time frames, let's get rid of this fib for the moment. We had of course, a very strong ABC correction and finally a rally. This correction has been deeper than I expected, but ultimately bounced at the 144 EMA. So if price is able to break on the weekly chart, which it just did on above the 20 EMA, pretty fair chance that this is finally restarting the uptrend, but I would like a little bit more information probably on this weekly chart. Probably a kind of a push higher here, maybe even a small pullback, and then a breakthrough like that would be ideal for a confirmation of upside. All right, dollar Swiss franc. Let me quickly add the template here. Is making ABC zigzag at this moment. There was divergence between these bottoms, and price is breaking above this 97 level. So there is a move up at this moment, and price is retesting the 21 EMA zone at this point. I think the ABC was likely to take place, and that is indeed happening. Otherwise, pretty choppy and corrective area, and not very interesting, I think, besides the potential correction. I think that price can go up into 98, but that could easily be a bouncing spot for a down move. So it depends. If this upside really gains traction, it could become a 5-wave up. Whereas if it's just a simple ABC, then and bounces here, for instance, or here, then I would like to see basically some stronger price action to confirm that the ABC is finished. All right, EUROAUD. Let's put on the template as well here. And this is starting to slowly but surely look bullish, although overall it is quite choppy and rangy. Big support zone in here. I should use blue for that. And price bouncing at heavy resistance here. But the triangle did break to the upside, and that could indicate more bullishness. Not something that I would probably trade on the 4-hour, maybe on the hourly chart. It's making some type of nice channel to the upside, and as you can see, the 20 EMA zone acting as support. I would probably, for the moment, still be cautious here. I think that small little pullback and bounce is probably the best approach for this EUROAUD. I think that's valid for all of these Euro New Zealand, Pound AUD, and Pound New Zealand crosses, in fact. So let's take a look at those so that we complete that in one shot. Euro New Zealand is going a little bit slower. EUROAUD has a little bit more pace. Pound AUD is going even faster. Pound AUD might be the best one at this point. It has more established kind of sentiment to the upside when looking at the daily chart. Let's take a look at the hourly. I would probably prefer a pullback here too. But if it does make that pullback, the Pound AUD would look, I think, the best of the four for upside. So waiting for a pullback and continuation primarily on the Pound AUD at this moment. All right, let's take a look at some of these indices. This is the S&P 500 strong uptrend. Another bounce at the weekly pivot point at 21 EMA, making another higher high. And a continuous rally here, but getting very close to the minus 61.8 target here of this 38.2 fib bounce. Triangle and break. A little bit of a bounce at the 272 target, but right away a continuation higher, in fact. Very strong uptrend. Very strong price action. And but at this moment, yeah, I think that, again, a pullback into the 20 EMA like we had here and here and here, probably the best thing for the S&P 500 at this point, considering the proximity of the minus 61.8 target. This is DAX. DAX, a little bit funny because, yeah, it's struggling here with the continuation higher, but overall still a bullish structure. It is falling as we speak now. After gapping up, I think that, yeah, we see some hesitation in this zone, right? But I think that overall, still very much a bullish structure, and the breakout not doing that bad either. It seems to be, of course, struggling at the previous top. So let's see if it can break. I was leaning towards a breakout, but we haven't had it yet. We had a slight higher high. Ultimately, I think if it goes back into the support zone, that it should be a bouncing spot for continuation higher though. Okay. And the Dow Jones is making a bull flag, bounce at the weekly pivot point, try to break out here. I think the next breakout could be easy, just a simple pullback here, maybe a small head and shoulders pattern on the hourly chart like that, for instance. So if it does move down here, a bounce, and the second break or third break even above the 20 MA should do better, I think, for the Dow Jones, and there should be a continuation higher. And in this case, I think a continuation pattern looking pretty good. Obviously an uptrend, very strongly present. On the 4-hour chart, we had several bounces here already. Good uptrend. Daily chart, same thing really. We had the same pattern here with a triangle breaking to the upside and a good continuation higher. So I think for the moment, another higher high, you know, it has a good chance, I think, for a continuation higher with such an established uptrend, of course. Now, it is vulnerable to geopolitical news, trade wars, etc. So you never know when a bigger correction could take place. And this is, of course, always the chance that it could be a wave 5 of 5 completed, and a bigger push down can always happen. But for the moment, the momentum is strong. For the moment, I think odds of a higher high are higher than a retracement necessarily. We had a big correction here, and I said already last time around that with the breakout here, it probably will go further than the breakouts that we had in this zone, right? So that indeed has happened. This breakout going way further than this breakout and this breakout, and that momentum is still in play. Looking at price action and candlestick patterns, and I think a break up to the next kind of psychological level at 29,500 is very likely. All right, so that's it for the moment. Thank you so much for joining. Oh wait, one more thing actually. I didn't take a look at Euro Yen and Pound Yen. My fault. That, of course, we need to take a look at. I didn't have it here in my vision. And obviously, that's something that I want to take a look at as well before closing the webinar. Let's do that right now. I have open the Pound Yen, so we need the Euro Yen still. All right, there we go. So Pound Yen, very strong upside, but the down momentum was also quite strong. I'm not sure if this is a triangle. It doesn't really look like a triangle to me, but in any case, it is some type of consolidation zone that's taking place, right? Overall, the trend is still up. So let's see if we can get, that continuation. If it does break above the double top here, I think that could be a fair chance for price to at least get back to the 78.6 fib here at 146.60. So that could be a good breakout. That's one thing. There was a doji last week, so if it does make a move down, obviously you could retest support here again around 141. That could, of course, be a good and strong bouncing spot as well. So looking for a long there, or the breakout, I think for the moment makes most sense. Maybe even a break below this double bottom here. These two lows could indicate a breakout to the downside. Looking at the 4-hour chart, though, bulls in control, I would say, at this moment. Would need to fight against this trend line for breakout to the upside, an early breakout before breaking this double top here. Downside would, of course, need to break at least through this trend line here and the 21 EMA and the weekly pivot point before we have some chance of price falling down into this zone. personally, I think a break, flag, and continuation would work well for both directions, in fact, because overall the chart is quite choppy on a 4-hour chart. So I think that the flag pattern after the break is a good way of avoiding false breakouts. Okay, so if it does move lower, then I would be looking for a bounce in this zone. Breakout to the upside, I think, looking a little bit better in my view. EUR-yen is a little bit funny because, yeah, it's making a lot of ups and downs, quite volatile. It's a little bit difficult to, because it's making these ups and downs very quickly after another in all kind of directions. So it's difficult to look at the waves, I think, from this perspective. I won't even dive into that. I think it's not that valuable at this point. It is quite choppy and corrective. Looking at the weekly chart, this could be a bigger triangle. From that perspective, we just had a higher low probably. So there's more space to the upside, I would say, within that triangle pattern. And price is above the 21 EMA as well. So I would lean also towards upside at this moment. We have also several break pullback continuations already. This could be another one, in fact. So from that perspective, a break above 122.50, 122.30 here could be a breakout above the weekly pivot point, and also a break above this channel to the downside. It is bouncing at the 144 EMA, so that could be a first kind of signal here, a higher low. So a re-break above the 20 EMA could already be an early signal that upside is gaining advantage. But I think a better confirmation, a more sturdy confirmation would be a break above this. Break, flag, and continuation, I think, making the most sense on the euro-yen. All right, that's it for today's session then. Thank you so much for joining. Of course, join FXDD YouTube channel. Open an account with FXDD to get more information and analysis as well through the YouTube channel. And of course, if you open an account with FXDD, you can start trading a demo and eventually a live account when you feel ready for that. Also, of course, feel free to join the live webinars with Nenad and myself. Above all, wish you good trading, and I'll see you soon in the next video or webinar. Cheers. Bye-bye.